Hi, I'm Azra.
And hi, I'm Theandra.
And you're listening to the A&T Friendship Diaries. What's up, y'all? And welcome back to another episode of our review of the originals. We are here to review episodes 16, 17, and 18. You look like your daughter right now looking at me. These were good episodes.
They were excellent episodes. We actually got to see a little bit of their upbringing to give you a better understanding of all of them, actually.
Yeah, who they are.
And I'm a little more compassionate.
And who they were before being turned into vampires. Episode 16, Farewell to Storyville, had a lot of flashbacks, just like episodes 15 and 14. Like, I like it when they give us the flashbacks.
Me too.
Yeah. So episode 16 starts with flashbacks to the year, I'm thinking it's like 432. I think that's when the Michelson family were human. I think it's the year 432.
Mm-hmm.
And it flashes back to Nick and Rebecca when they were little, and there's a storm, and Rebecca is scared of the storm, and Nick gives her like this little figurine thing that he had carved to, give her some peace while it's storming, so that she's not.
Nick, don't leave me.
Yeah, they were super
and he said,
cute.
I will never leave you.
Yeah, it was good to see their relationship.
He loved Rebecca.
He does, which explains why he acts the way he does in this episode, because that's the flashback. But in real time, he's trying to kill Rebecca right now.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, so it was good to see sweeter days when there was a different time.
They said that the reason why Klaus kind of like was originally keeping him and Marcel apart was that he was afraid, according to Celeste, of losing their love. That's just why he would always kill the people that they were falling in love with, like Elijah and all, right, because he felt like, I will lose your love. And I think that stemmed from, he felt like he lost his father's love,
right. And I'm pretty sure he's always wondering, when will Michael's real kids turn on me? And I hate that, because it's like, yeah, you guys don't have the same dad, but you guys got the same mom. Like, it's not like he's not related to them at all. You see what I'm saying? Y'all still got the same blood, because y'all still came from the
Rebecca
same mom.
Rebecca made sure to call him stepbrother.
Or bastard.
Yeah,
her
bastard brother.
Yeah, so I don't understand that. Like, why is there a heavy emphasis on Klaus not being Michael's son? Because y'all all came from the same womb.
But that's what I love about this episode, because it kind of breaks it down like over time, because Elijah and Rebecca was close, super close. And I think over time, with his insecurities, him wanting his father's love, never getting it, and eventually in their older years, the stricter he got on her, the more he, confined her and tried to hold her and keep her to him, in his mind, protecting her. And I believe he believed that, because Rebecca needs protection, especially when we get into what Marcel be doing. But
he's been protecting her.
He's pushed her, is what she said.
I know, but he's been protecting her since they were kids.
Yes.
So he probably felt like that's his duty. You know what I'm saying? He's had, and at this point now they're vampires, so he's had centuries of protecting Rebecca. But if you go back to the flashback, she called for Klaus. She didn't call for Elijah.
She didn't.
She didn't call for anybody else to come and protect her. She called for Klaus. So that probably means a lot to Klaus and says a lot to Klaus. And she just got a little bit older and started forsaking all of that
like,
shit.
I don't need your protection anymore. He's like, no, you do.
Yeah.
And she does.
Yeah, I was just gonna
I don't
say,
like Marcel.
Right.
I don't think at first, I don't know how I missed his first time going through, but I was like, oh my God, why won't Klaus just let them be together? They just let them, maybe that was a hopeless romantic in me, but now looking back, over it the second time, I'm like, Klaus was right. Like Marcel is not good for her. He
No.
is selfish.
He chooses him every
And
time. He
I get
never
what you
chooses
saying
Rebecca.
now. He's like so entitled.
Yeah.
Like, it's my city, it's my, and I'm thinking, you so ungrateful.
Yeah. And I guess he thinks it's his city because in last week's show we were talking about how Michael gave the city to Marcel.
But it was Klaus's first.
Yeah. So Michael
don't know
had
where
no reason. He had no he shouldn't have gave the city away, but he was doing that just to hurt Klaus.
Yeah. Because he wanted to wipe him away completely.
Right. So give it to Marcel, let people sing Marcel's praises, let people sing. And Marcel was down for that. Marcel didn't chase after them when Michael ran them up out of the city. He just stayed there to take over the city.
Took their house over.
Yeah.
Marcel is, bruh.
So he's really everything that Klaus is trying to protect Rebecca from. And Klaus knew it. He knows that
I don't like
Marcel is selfish. He knows that. Clearly he sees something that Rebecca can't see. And he's seen it from day one. Hence the reason why I think that he didn't even want to turn Marcel in the first place.
But you remember when he picked him up from a little boy, he said, I see a lot of me in you.
And we know Marcel that Klaus is selfish.
Yes, and Marcel is just like him. Like
he really is.
He wants what he wants. It's funny that he wants the same thing that Klaus wants. He wants the city.
He wants notoriety. He wants to be revered as the Prince of New Orleans.
No, baby, you got it wrong. He said, I'm the king.
That's right. He did say he was the king of New Orleans.
And he said it with bass in his voice, with his whole chest.
Yeah, he did.
And Klaus looked like, I know he just did not say it with his chest.
But you're not. It's not your city. You stole it. Because you called that man's daddy.
And he tried to steal it way before Michael. That's what Tunde was supposed to do. He said, I just want him to run off. Because you was going to steal. He never planned to leave New Orleans.
No, he didn't.
He wanted that city.
Yeah, and he wanted Klaus gone. Because you're correct. When he came back home from the war, he brought Tunde with him. That's how Tunde ended up there in the first place.
So he's always been undermining him.
Marcel's the whole reason why Tunde's twin boys was killed. Because had he not brought him to the city, Klaus wouldn't have had to chop their heads off.
Marcel is the whole reason they're in this whole situation. Marcel is the reason for the originals.
God, I'm gonna have to unpack that in my mind later. Like, gee whiz, that's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah, we are not liking Marcel.
No,
and that's so crazy.
He put the curse on Haley's family.
He did,
because he had the witches to do it.
Yeah, he did, and he was controlling the witches. Witches got them acting the fuck up. They're the whole reason. He's the whole reason why they are out of control right now.
He killed old girl, mama.
Yeah, he wouldn't let the witches very much believe in tradition.
Yeah.
And he didn't let them do those things. That's a problem.
Marcel was a whole.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so crazy.
And Klaus showed you love.
Yeah.
Like Klaus showed you love. Then he wanted his sister.
Then he wanted everything Klaus has.
Yes.
He wanted everything Klaus has. Golly, why are we doing this right now?
What is that? Is that like Freudian? What is that? It's a complex when you want everything that.
I don't know. It's like that movie from the 80s, Single White Female, Single Vampire.
I don't know. I was born in the 80s, so I was probably.
It's a classic, but they also have a remake.
Oh,
that's
okay.
Of like the 2000s. I'm gonna have to. Yeah, I'm gonna find it.
Hey, Marcel.
But yeah,
I think Rebecca is a means to an ends. I don't think he loves her. You can't.
I don't think he loves Rebecca at all because he never chooses Rebecca. So he does it. he loves Rebecca as far as what he thinks that love is.
He left her again in the cemetery.
And I'm not even trying to say anything and have like this crazy compassion for him, but Marcel doesn't know how to love. His mama didn't even name him.
Yeah, because
he said his mama said she was not going to name him until he made it past a certain age to see if he lived. And then he did make it past a certain age, but then his mama died. So he didn't have a name.
No. So how
I
you
feel like
want,
that's important. Like
I
feel
know,
like
and so the
that's
person
crazy.
that gave you,
the person that gave you life, who generally gives you a name, one of the two people that give you life, either your mama or your daddy, gives you a name. His mama died. His daddy was the plantation owner who didn't even acknowledge him.
Nope.
What was they calling him?
Hey boy,
That's not okay.
that's it.
Yeah. So no, Marcel has I'm sure he has a hard time loving. And
Yeah,
Rebecca,
but Klaus showed him love. Like even in, like he gave him, yeah, yes he did. He gave him his name. He raised him. He gave
He
him the
did.
best tutelage.
He did. You're right.
Marcel is well spoken.
He is.
Well handled.
Yeah.
Klaus poured everything into him. The only thing Klaus said, you can't have my sister.
Correct.
That's it.
It's like Adam and Eve with the Lord. He was like, you can have all of this, just don't eat from this tree.
Right.
And they still had to.
Still had to.
Just like Marcel and Rebecca, they can't keep their hands off of one another. Forbidden fruit.
Remember I said that.
That's not.
So
that's interesting.
He even gave you immortality.
Yeah, even gave you immortality because you asked for it.
And that's a precious gift.
You asked for it.
Yep. So
but now
you want to bite the hand that feeds you?
Has bitten, because we saw in the flashback him and Rebecca conspire and they call Michael.
Which is why I'm gonna say this and we'll move on. But Rebecca validated everything that Klaus feared. And I know we say his fear was irrational. I know we say it wasn't right or that he's crazy or his insecurities, but she proved exactly what he feared. The love and the bond that we had. And but in her words, she said he drew her to it. But in the end, you chose Marcel.
Right.
Over him. Over
and
Klaus.
That was his fear.
Yeah.
That they would love each other so much that they no longer loved him. And that's exactly what happened.
Exactly what happened. You chose him over me. If it comes to me dying or Marcel dying, you would say goodbye to me. And that's what he didn't want.
No.
Because he already got trust issues. I don't even, my own parents said, last thing I need is for all y'all to turn on me because y'all
we have love the somewhere same else. Mother.
Right.
Jesus. Right. They keep forgetting that.
So yeah, they solidify his fears. When Elijah found Celeste, what are you doing, brother? Like nobody stands with him. When they in love, Elijah do the same stuff.
He does. Yeah, when they're in love,
it's just like
they neglect the always and forever.
Yeah.
And this is why Klaus in episode 16, this is why Klaus is in the cemetery trying to kill Rebecca. And Elijah is not having it.
He is not. Now
I
did like Elijah. I was like, dang, you better stand up to Klaus.
This episode, in my mind, this episode was to me ludicrous. Is when I move, you move,
just like that.
Because every time Klaus moved to try to go and kill Rebecca, Elijah was moving with that ass. All you heard the whole episode was
when you get down to the end of the checkers game and it's just your king and they king, y'all just slide back and forth. That's what it was.
Yeah. Because Elijah was not going to let Klaus kill Rebecca. Klaus was pissed. He would have white oaked her ass. Rebecca was going to be out of there. Do you understand me? Klaus knew you called Michael to have Michael kill me. I don't care what you say. It wasn't to run me up out of New Orleans. You wanted me dead so that you could be with Marcel. Like, it's the whole phrase. You wanted me dead so you could be with Marcel, which, like you said, was his fear in the first place. And here it is true.
And I don't think it's warranted. Now, call me crazy, but I don't think it was warranted. Like, I think he's done some messed up stuff, but he's never killed them. Like, he's never wanted them dead. He might have daggered her for 52 years.
But he knew she was gonna be all right.
Yeah, he knew she was gonna be all
You got
right. You
centuries.
didn't
Rest
know
a
I
little
was
bit.
gonna be all right because you know
How
he
Michael
wanted to
is.
kill me.
Yes, and torture me.
Not
He-
just kill me, but torture me.
The destroyer.
The destroyer. You called
Yeah.
the destroyer on me. I
Right.
may have daggered you for 52 years.
His whole existence, Michael's whole existence of who he is because of his hatred for Klaus.
Exactly.
So yeah,
You
can't
called
call
my
him.
worst enemy.
Yeah, you can't call him, but you did.
But you did.
And this is why he's trying to murk Rebecca, which I totally understand.
I get it.
I do. I understand it.
But I get Elijah said, I'm not going to let you do this because I know you're angry now, but I know you love Rebecca because he was trying. Now, Elijah's trying to paint the picture of Rebecca is that same little girl in the storm that you carved that little wooden thing for. But
Yeah.
Klaus ain't hearing it. He want a white ochre.
Yeah, he
White
does.
ochre. We got to get a shirt to say white ochre.
Yeah. Not only that, Elijah also begins to talk about, and we see flashbacks of other times that Rebecca stood up for Klaus that Klaus was not aware of. We find out that Rebecca was actually attempted to kill their father because she was tired of him hurting Klaus. She was going to kill Michael while he slept. Do you think so?
Yes.
Yeah.
If Elijah hadn't stopped it. Now, we did jump ahead, but you remember when Elijah called Camille over to feed Klaus to get his strength back?
Oh yeah, when they finally get out of the cemetery.
No, before. That's how he got to the cemetery. Is because he pulled the dagger out his chest, let Camille feed him because she had vervain, so he wouldn't drink her to death. Because
That's right.
And
that's
he was
why,
telling her because she was like,
bed,
yeah, he was hoping that her psychology would talk him down
from trying to kill Rebecca. That's right.
To give him time to.
But while he's laying in the bed, that's when he figures out that Marcella's not going to leave the city without Davina.
Mm-hmm.
So he realizes that Rebecca is still in the city.
Yeah,
you are correct. And somehow or another, they end up in the cemetery, and the witches do a spell, and they can't get out of the cemetery. Oh yeah, because the witches want Klaus. It was probably
it was Celeste.
Genevieve. You think Genevieve did the spell to keep them trapped in the graveyard?
No, it was Celeste.
Okay.
Celeste knew they was going to be in the graveyard. She done it because they were trying to get Rebecca and Marcel out the city to stall them to give Klaus time to calm down. She made sure they got all locked into the cemetery. So she lured Elijah there. So once he got locked in, she knew that Rebecca and Marcel was coming for Davina.
Correct.
And she knew that Klaus would have figured it out. And so once they all get in that little cemetery, now y'all trapped.
Right.
So there's nowhere to run. So she trapped them in there. Three. She wanted them to slaughter each other.
Yeah, she did. She set them up for the.
But little did she know. Now this is the one time I was like, Elijah, come on, mastermind Elijah, acting like Daddy Klaus.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Elijah was on.
He went to Monique and was like, Celeste ain't who you think she is.
Yeah. Elijah showed a lot of intelligence these last. I mean, we already know that he's super intelligent, but he showed just extreme thinking ahead, just the whole 9. Episodes 16, 17, and 18.
I saw flaws. This whole treaty thing. Now I am with Klaus. Everybody ain't like Elijah. Elijah's a man of his word.
He is,
but nobody else is. And that's what Klaus is trying to teach him. Like, you're trying to go about it thinking everybody is like you. They're not going to keep their word.
Okay, so that's episode 18. Let's go back to episode 16.
Okay.
Because episode 16 is them 3 being trapped in the cemetery, Klaus trying to kill Rebecca, and Klaus and Rebecca have some words.
She started talking cash money.
She does. She starts talking cash money, but I feel like Elijah told Klaus, you won't listen to her, so now you got to deal with me.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Klaus should have listened to her. Because at one point, Rebecca says to him, you were such a tyrant that the reason why I called our father, because I felt like he was the lesser evil to deal with. And did you see Klaus's face
That
when
hurt his
she's
feelings because he don't want to be compared to his dad. But
but
let's get it twisted.
he was acting
He
like
was
his dad.
he was nowhere near his dad.
Yo, you crazy out your mind. Rebecca don't see that.
No, because she's selfish.
I mean, I understand that she's
You don't
selfish.
see it because you don't. It's so easy being on the other side, being the protector. I understand you was gonna kill dad for me, but I took those beatings up until you got to that point. I took them every day. I took them every day. When you got up the nerve to kill him, we were teenagers, but I was taking them beatings since I hit this earth. And I get that.
I mean, I understand.
And how
that.
can you say I'm a tyrant like him when he was never, ever to you what he was to me? I can only say that because you never experienced Michael the tyrant. He was Michael, your father.
Yeah,
he was only mean to you when you stood up for me.
Well, he wasn't just mean to them when they stood up for Klaus.
Yes.
No, he was mean to them other times as well. I mean, we hear Elijah talk about it. It's not just when they are standing up for Klaus. Yeah, it might be worse than what it is normally, but he doesn't treat any of them with kindness.
Yeah.
He doesn't treat any of them with kindness. He talks shit to all of them.
But he has love for them. He has no love for Klaus.
Correct, but even if he does have love for them, he does not show it. There was never.
But you can't compare how he treat them to Klaus.
I understand.
It's two different. So when she say you're the more tyrant, you don't know what a tyrant is.
I do.
You have no right.
Treated them differently, but it's not as though we're talking about bad and bad. They didn't get any good from Michael. So we're comparing.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
What episode?
The episode where he don't kill them, but he's trying to kill Klaus. See, there's a difference between him throwing and hurting them because he know their kids are immortal. It's like you spanking your kid. How do you spank your kid if they're a vampire? You stab them in the heart when you know they're gonna come back alive. That's a vampire butt whooping. He's spanking them. He's beating Klaus. He's trying to murder him. He's trying to wipe him off the face of the earth.
I mean, I understand that. I understand.
It's nowhere near compared to it, and
that's now.
And the only reason he made I know because I've studied. He was never to them like that because Elijah used to help him. You're gonna hold him down. We're gonna hold him down. We're gonna do the werewolf side of them. He was like, brother, please help me.
But why did Elijah hold him down? Elijah didn't just decide to. Elijah also didn't want to get beat. He didn't just say okay. He didn't want Klaus to neglect that side of himself either. But he felt like he didn't have a choice.
No, that's the thing of a father. A father, it was a torn because you're supposed to obey your parents. That's just the bottom line. That's what he was torn with. And yeah, he would have got maybe hit or beat, but it was nothing compared to Klaus at all.
I understand.
We'll leave it at that. But I don't understand how she say he was the more tyrant. You can't say that. There's no way Klaus was nowhere near his dad because y'all never experienced what he experienced from Michael. Period. So you can't say I'm worse than him. Well, maybe you can say I'm worse than him because you've never had what I've had from him. But you've watched what he's done to me, and you should know what he's done to me is nothing compared to what I've ever done to you. So you can't put me on in that plate in that ball field.
I mean, he says that, but we
dilute yourself, Rebecca, to make you feel better about the decisions that you made. But I get it.
You're saying that, but this is also the brother that daggered her and her ass was asleep, we know of one time for 52 years.
Which was for her own good. Because she's like 13 in the brain.
He should talk to her. He don't never explain himself. Whatever it is.
He do, but she don't hear it. She only hear what she wants.
You gonna defend Klaus?
I'm gonna defend to the end.
To the end.
Because there's nothing.
He can do no wrong. And I think he does hold
fault. He does wrong.
Now, he didn't hold enough fault for her and Marcel to try to have Michael kill him, but he does hold fault.
But the end of the episode sums it up. They're just broken.
Oh yeah, they
on different levels.
Yeah.
But for them to be broken, it behooves me that Klaus has the most compassion. He still had compassion for his father. Maybe his dad was horrible to him. That's maybe why he horrible to me. He still holds out this compassion. Like, even though I may have daggered you or done this to you, like, you don't question his loyalty or his love. He might not go about it the right way, but that's one thing you know. If Klaus for you, he for you. So I'm like, I don't I just they call him the black kettle, but to me they're just as
I mean, he might be for you, but doesn't mean that he's not gonna also hurt you if it behooves him.
exactly.
And that's a problem though. And I believe that's all Rebecca's saying. Like, whatever it is that you want, that's what it is. Damn what we say. If we don't feel like eating tonight, nah, you gonna make us eat. If we don't feel like doing whatever, nah, you gonna make us do it because he's a bully.
Yeah, but she
But
needs it.
also Michael was a bully. I can see
And that's
some
what he
of her
said at the end.
I can
But she
see
needs it.
yeah.
Because she don't, as you can see, she don't make the best decisions. Like, it's like everything he's telling you about yourself, you don't see it, and you end up being exactly what he told you. Like, bruh. Like how she ended up in the forest, like we said.
Trying to make out what a
I
werewolf. Yeah.
digress. Rebecca. Live your life. You ain't have to follow him around.
Well, either way it goes, she admits to Klaus that there was a possibility that she wanted him dead. Because
Yeah.
she kept saying that she only called Michael so that he could run Klaus off.
He was like, well, dang, if that's what it is, go live your best life, Rebecca.
Yeah.
And he could have killed her. But
he
yet
could have
again,
killed her.
he didn't.
No, he does show
Even when he had
compassion.
the right to. When you want to be dead just so you can go and love somebody, I still spared you. So you can go live your best life.
Yeah.
But he missed her.
Rebecca, yeah, he asked Rebecca, what is it that you want? And she said she wants a love, she wants a partner, she wants a family. She should have just said she wants to be human, because for me, I really think Rebecca, she's had enough of being a vampire. I think she been had enough.
Yeah, I think if
I think
Rebecca
it's
had a
different for
choice
her because she's
to,
female, period.
yeah, I think if Freya had like if Freya was like, hey, I can whip up something that'll make you human if you want to be, Rebecca would drink it.
Absolutely.
She
Yeah.
would drink it.
Yeah, I think Rebecca's had enough of being a vampire for sure.
Yeah.
She wants to do what she thought she was going to do, when she was a little girl, grow up and have kids and have a husband and, you know what I'm saying, grow old. I'm pretty sure because she is a female, she has, those type of desires. And that's something that can't happen. And on top of that, she's got a brother who's always telling her what to do, who to love, who not to love, where she can go, what she can do, always and forever. I feel like she's getting a hard little knock on this.
She'll
I
be
know
all
you
right.
don't. I know,
She'll
like
be
you
all right.
said, she'll be all right.
She'll be all right.
Again, I know you don't think so, but I do.
Mm-mm.
I feel a little bit for Rebecca. I'm sorry.
I don't feel nothing for her at
I
all
know.
because I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like her loyalty. I feel like she just wishy washy sometimes, and I'm with Klaus. Like, dude, like either you for me or you not. Like, you either love me in all of my imperfections, or you don't. But what you can't do is love me today and hate me tomorrow. Love me today and hate me tomorrow, because he might do the same thing, but generally, you know that he loves her. And when he did give them, it's kind of like her timing bad, because when he gave y'all the blessing, y'all had already messed up,
Yeah, they had already called Michael. It was
which
too
he
late.
never even knew about. And you knew it, and you never told him.
No, yeah,
He had to find out through Genevieve,
yeah,
which hurt him even. It's just like,
she should have
bruh,
told him. Yeah, she definitely should have told
like
him.
you said, secrets are poison.
Yeah, and Klaus hates secrets. She should have told him.
And that's another reason.
She's had so much time.
Both of them. Y'all treat him like, oh, you're this horrible person. You did. Y'all are just as conniving. Yes, just as horrible. At least he's bold enough to do it in your face. He'll tell you, well, while you were doing that, I daggered you for 52 years, such and such.
Right. The secrecies
Yeah.
is what's making it worse.
But you know, I'm Team Klaus, so I'm always fine.
We know.
He's so precious. I like little carving Klaus.
So it's 1919. This is where Rebecca, her flashback starts. And it starts with her meeting Genevieve. Her and Genevieve are both nurses in this hospital where I'm assuming it's war victims, because they were all men. There were no women in the hospital bed. So I'm thinking that these men went off to war and they were like maybe candy stripers, like what they were called back in the day, that were helping the men.
I'm not for sure. I just know they all had tuberculosis. Look like
They did all. I would agree with you.
yeah.
Yeah. So in all of the flashback, let's just talk about that. You want to go through the whole flashback? We won't talk about any other scenes in this episode. You just want to get through the whole flashback?
Let's just get through the whole flashback.
I'm with it. I'm with it.
So she befriends Genevieve, and Genevieve was young, naive, and the fact that Rebecca was an original and she was talking to her, inviting her, like she was clearly.
I wouldn't say Genevieve was naive. I mean, she was a witch, and we have already established that the witches are something serious.
They are when you cross them. But when I say naive, because she didn't see past Rebecca befriending her to use her. Now, in the befriending, Rebecca started to feel bad because Genevieve was genuinely a kind person.
She was. She had a good heart.
She was gullible.
Okay.
I'll use the word gullible.
Yes.
And so she started feeling.
And her homegirl told her, though.
Yeah.
Her homegirl,
which was Celeste in another body back then.
Because Celeste jumps bodies. So, yeah, her homegirl was Celeste in another body. But Celeste told her.
Yeah.
You can't trust. You know who she is.
Yeah.
Talking about Rebecca. You can't trust her. But Genevieve does. Go ahead.
Yes. So Genevieve trusts her. And as they become friends, she catches her and Marcel in I guess, nurse lounge. I don't know what it was at. But they was going at it.
Yeah, she catches them making out.
Yes. And Marcel is pressuring her like, you need to get her to do this spell so they can call Michael. And she's like, yeah, I want to, but you know, I'm having second thoughts. And he was like, we could use another witch.
First, they have the discussion about, and I wonder how many times they've had these conversations, they being Marcel and Rebecca, but they have a conversation once again about them being together, which I don't know why they're always talking about it. It's one of those things like, do y'all really want to be together?
I know.
Because y'all are always talking about it.
I think y'all like the idea of being together.
Correct.
But we'll get into it.
When you get the opportunities to be together, y'all don't be together.
Right. That's why I don't like Marcel. Anyway.
Yeah.
I just don't trust his intentions. Long story short,
I don't trust his intentions either.
She talks Genevieve into doing the spell.
Okay. So wait. So they decide that the only way that they can be together is to get rid of Klaus.
Yes, and they call their dad.
The only way that they can get rid of Klaus, because they know they can't do it on their own, is to call, what do they call Michael?
The Destroyer.
The Destroyer, the vampire who kills vampires.
Yes.
Now pause. Why didn't I remember that Michael was a vampire? So when their mother did her spell and turned her kids into vampires, she also turned Michael into a vampire too?
No. Let me tell you what happened.
Tell me.
When she turned them into vampires, they became immediately immortal. At first, they didn't really care about them being immortal until they realized what they created. Because you got to, mind you, they didn't know what vampires were until they realized what they were, because it was a spell. Right. And so when they saw the drawbacks and they slaughtering villages and, then Klaus, his first kill turned into a werewolf. He a hybrid.
Right.
So they realized we created them.
Right.
And they in turn hated them, but Michael only hated Klaus the most.
Right. And he already disliked Klaus even before they were turned into vampires.
So he said, I'm going to make it my duty to kill Klaus.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way I could do that, he knew he was going to have to chase him throughout time, is
Mm-hmm.
that I have to be immortal myself. So he
Ah.
changed himself, because while they were out here creating vampires, he would find vampires and hunt them down. Like, have you seen Klaus? Or have you
And
seen,
then he
and
would also
torture them.
kill them
Right. And
because
so
he didn't want any vampires.
any vampires. That's why they call him the destroyer. He killed vampires searching for Klaus. So
Wow.
in that doing that, he changed himself so that he could be immortal, so he could chase them for eternity
Until he got Klaus.
until he got him.
So you think in his mind, once he gets Klaus, then he'll commit suicide or something and kill himself? Because I mean, his thirst is just as real.
Yeah, I mean, that's what he claims. But the thing is, he only want to kill Klaus. Klaus,
Right.
in his mind, for whatever reason, is the abomination because he's half werewolf.
Right. And I hate it whenever I hear Michael calling Klaus an abomination. Like I think it's this episode, or
Yeah,
it might
that's
be.
this episode that made me really sad, because as a child, he didn't understand why his dad
Yeah.
hated him. Like, he kicked him, he beat him
Yeah, and
mercilessly.
that's even before the whole vampire thing, before he even realizes that
Exactly.
Klaus is a werewolf or any of that. He was already just mean as hell to him.
Because he said Klaus was weak.
Yeah. And basically, though, Michael also tries to play it off like he knew all along that Klaus wasn't his son. He knew there was something different about Klaus. And that could very well be true. It don't matter that the year was, 432. You can kind of tell if, I'm not saying all people can, but there have been some men who have, their wives have gotten pregnant by, we'll say, the mailman, and they off the top know that's not my kid.
Yeah, he was one of them.
So Michael could have known just off the rip, like, boom, that's not my son. But since you don't want to tell me, I'm gonna just treat him like crap.
And he did. He treated him horribly. And what was so great about her going through this thing and seeing this,
her
flashbacks, it's like, yeah, you wanted to be with Marcel, but in her mind, I guess she thought that was their only way. And Genevieve is just loving giving Klaus
this front row seat. Yeah. Yep. So Rebecca and Marcel decide that the only way that they can be together is to get rid of Klaus. Now, I don't know if they meant get rid of, like, permanently, like kill him, or because later on Rebecca says we just wanted him to run you off. But I don't know if I believe that.
No, Klaus made her admit no. Yeah, I was inside your head.
She said she didn't know. I definitely think she knew. I think her and Marcel wanted Michael to come and to kill Klaus.
Yeah.
So that they could be together.
Yeah. Yeah. But what happened?
Which was not.
Oh, and Rebecca stole the knife. So, okay, so let me back up. So in the flashback, there was a knife that belonged to their dad. Rebecca stole that knife, and Klaus got beat to sleep.
Yes.
Because she stole it.
Correct.
And he remembered how nice and sweet she was to him, but she never admitted
that to their dad that she was the one who stole it.
Right.
Yeah. Because she always been sneaky. But I also wondered if it was because she was the only girl.
True.
Now, I understand that we have, what's the other sister's name that we gonna meet?
Freya.
Soon? I understand that we got Freya, but Freya didn't grow up with them. So it was just a bunch of boys and Rebecca.
Yeah. But you remember, did you see the part where it was storming?
Oh, and Klaus was so sweet to her. But that's what she was saying. Like, where's the little boy that protected me and took care of me and was sweet and kind to me?
And that's what made me really sad. And that's what made me actually cry, because that was who Klaus was. That was the boy.
Yeah.
Big heart, so much love, wanting to be loved.
To be loved so much that the little figurine that he gave to Rebecca was something that he had carved to give to their dad. And in my mind, he carved it because he wanted his dad to like him, to say, this is a nice little horse, son, that you've carved for me. Like, it was, that made me cry because I saw what the little carving, what it was intended for. It was intended to get his father's love.
And he didn't.
No.
And somewhere in between there, I mean, the father beating him and just telling him he an abomination. Like, it started young. It literally broke him. And that's what made me sad, because I was like, that's who Klaus is. He's still that little boy.
Absolutely.
But he had no choice but to be tough, because their dad was not.
Nah, he was not easing back off of them. So in the flashback, we see where basically, no, actually, this is not in episode 14. I was about to give something away that happens in episode 15. My bad. So Rebecca and Marcel have decided to call Michael. They use Genevieve to call Michael. Genevieve does her spell to call Michael, and Michael doesn't show up.
For 6 months.
For 6 months.
So they thought they was in a clear, because
they did.
What happened in them 6 months?
They thought that the spell didn't work. And during the 6 months, Klaus gives his blessing.
Yes.
He says, he does a toast to two people who think that they have been kind of like sneaking around behind my back, to my sister and, you know, I guess he's calling my son. I don't know. He said something very kind to Marcel, and he gave him his blessing for them to be together.
And that's when Rebecca realized, you know what I'm saying? And this is where she realized that she messed up.
Oh yeah, Rebecca panics and tries to get Genevieve to undo the spell. And Genevieve says it can't be undone. Like, the spell is done. Like, but we did this some months ago.
Right, like, bruh.
And even if she hadn't, it's done.
It's done. Like, we did it 6 months ago. Like, bruh, like, I can't undo something that was done, like, 6 months ago. And Rebecca panicked and was like...
Rebecca panics, and in her panic and acting out of emotion, how Elijah says that Rebecca acts, she threatens Genevieve. Basically, thinking that the threat was going to make Genevieve undo the spell, instead of hearing Genevieve say that it can't be undone. She thinking Genevieve just doesn't want to undo it, which I don't understand. Rebecca be dumb.
And then she took the cough.
Oh God.
That tuberculosis cough.
Wait.
And put it over Celeste's mouth.
Over Genevieve's mouth.
Yeah, I mean Genevieve's mouth. And then Celeste, or whatever name, betadine, Bernadine, phenidine, promethazine, whatever her name was.
So Genevieve and Rebecca get to arguing. Genevieve says to Rebecca, just admit to Klaus what you did. Tell him that you called y'all's father.
Right.
And Rebecca's like, hell no.
You don't know who he is?
If I tell Klaus this, he's going to kill me, and he's going to kill you.
So you dead anyway.
Because you did the spell. And Genevieve was like, that's when Genevieve realizes, like, oh, you used me.
Yes.
So since you used me, I will go and tell Klaus my damn self that I did this spell upon your request. And Rebecca says, oh, no, you won't.
Because she had a crush on Klaus.
Yeah, she did.
So
Genevieve was just going to use that to try to get in Klaus's good graces. And Rebecca says, oh, no.
Come here, tuberculosis cloth.
And takes a bloody tuberculosis cloth out of Genevieve's pocket and puts it on her face. While she's holding the cloth on Genevieve's face, Genevieve's homegirl walks in, who happens to be Celeste.
Yep.
And Rebecca, moving with vampire speed, is on Celeste's ass with the rag now on her face. And now both of them have tuberculosis.
And they end up in a ward, quarantined by themselves, and they die in the bed,
looking at each other. Which is crazy. Genevieve actually dies.
Yeah.
Celeste does not, because she's able to jump bodies. But that's why she brings Genevieve back.
Yeah. 'Cause she
when
knows
she
she
takes
had
over the
vengeance.
star. Yeah, when she takes over the harvest, she understands that Genevieve, she wants to repay, just like Tunde. She knew Tunde was mad as shit at Klaus, so he'll help me. She know Genevieve mad as hell at Rebecca, so she'll also help me.
Yep.
So yeah, those were two good witches to bring back. I'll give Celeste that. She pretty smart.
And Celeste done all of this because she want to break up the Michaels family. See that whole always and forever crap.
She hate that shit.
She
Girl, every time she
Because she was like,
it,
you love me. You said you love me, Elijah. And then when Klaus had me killed, here you is trapping. Because she don't jump bodies, so she don't live centuries watching you.
she don't watch them.
Like, you back best friends with him like I never existed.
Yeah, she's
all the way talking about salty.
Yeah, she's mad, but I don't know shit. I think she just as mad as Genevieve because Genevieve hate Rebecca.
Yeah, she
as she should though. Rebecca did her dirty.
Okay, I don't know if I'm jumping ahead or not, but you know my favorite part of episode 14, which you probably got to move to episode 15 due to time.
What is it?
The way Klaus bit into her wrist.
Oh yeah, see, you've jumped ahead. I think you've jumped ahead a few episodes actually.
Because I got it on my 14 notes, but yeah.
Oh okay.
Where he bit her wrist, because you remember she had to take the dagger out of him, and he was weak, but she needed him.
This is when he's in the bed. Oh, so yeah, you've jumped ahead a while. So wait, Celeste, I'm sorry, Genevieve finishes her picture show.
Mm-hmm.
She says to Klaus, all right, basically, I'm going to let you up. You've seen what Rebecca had planned. So now it's time for you to go and take your revenge. So she's let Klaus up. Klaus is now walking through the hospital very angrily, screaming Rebecca's name at the top of his lungs because he's ready to kill Rebecca, as he should be ready.
Oh yeah, he was ready.
Yeah, as he should.
But the way he bit Genevieve wrist though to get his strength to go kill her, bruh, he was savage with it.
Oh yeah, when he bit Genevieve.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's why I was like, did I jump ahead?
Okay.
Like he looked like
about the other bite.
You remember she gave her
she was like, you need your strength. And so she gave him some of her blood.
Right, yes. She gave him her wrist, and he looked like he was about to be all gentle. No.
He bit the hell out of her wrist.
But anyway, but she enjoyed it though. She didn't look like she was mad. But yeah, so he's walking through the hospital. Now, Rebecca is dazed because she's sick off that werewolf blood. Correct. But she know Klaus is coming to get her because she hear him.
Yes.
And that's when Elijah shows up.
Elijah shows up at the hospital to stop Klaus from killing Rebecca, and the only way Elijah is able to do that is he has to dagger Klaus.
Right, and the only reason he found out is because Marcel had to admit, which is why I think in a later that's where that anger stems from. But yeah, because and then Haley takes Celeste. So it's a lot going on.
It is. It's a lot going on. And yes, Elijah hates Marcel, I believe, just as much as we do. Because Marcel does admit in in episode 15, season 15, Lord, in episode 15, that Marcel tells Elijah everything that Klaus now knows, that Klaus had firsthand account.
It was a movie.
It was. He just watched it all play out. So since we're in episode 15, we might as well jump into it. At the beginning of episode 15, Marcel and Rebecca think they're still in the clear. They don't know that Michael is actually really in town. They just don't see him, but he's there watching.
That's still episode 14, I believe.
It's episode 15. Yeah, he's there watching them. In the flashback, still, because it's still episode 15 is still having some of the flashback. When they see that, when Michael first gets back, he confronts Marcel in the bar
and give him an ultimatum.
He does. You want to tell him about the ultimatum?
He said, I'll spare you and you can keep this city. But he said, you better not hurt Rebecca. Don't worry about Rebecca. And to keep Rebecca safe, I'll let you have the city. And he was going to kill Klaus. And I thought right there. And then I was like, that's why I don't like Marcel.
Yeah.
But that makes sense of why he didn't run after them.
Because Michael gave
Because he
him
got what he wanted.
Yeah, Michael gave him
because
the
they
city.
thought he killed him, but it was all a play.
Correct.
It was all a facade.
And he still wanted to kick Marcel's ass, so he still kicked Marcel's ass, but he didn't kill him.
No.
And he gave Marcel the city, and Marcel accepted.
Remember, because he stuck his hand. The last view that they had, Rebecca, Klaus, and Elijah, was Michael with his hands in Marcel's chest around his heart.
Yep.
And Klaus couldn't watch him rip his heart out. Rebecca was passed out because
they were carrying her,
and so they had to leave. And so they just knew, because Michael don't spare nobody. He's the destroyer.
He's the destroyer. He kills all vampires.
Right.
But he knew, because he's been watching them all of this time. He knew what Marcel meant to Klaus. So but
Klaus took it. He got, and then I just want to understand his self-righteousness. Like, why are you so mad at them for leaving? Y'all left me. Y'all didn't. Dude, you had already made the bargain.
Yeah. So after Michael leaves the bar, he then goes to Elijah and says to Elijah, and of course Elijah is shook to see him. He then says to Elijah, help me kill your brother, who's an abomination. And Elijah's like, I will never stand with you against Klaus. And Elijah said that shit with conviction.
He did.
He meant that.
He was gangster.
I will never stand with you.
And he didn't kill him.
No. And you're right. Michael knew that Elijah was not, no, sir, not happening.
And I think that's why Nick Klaus is like trying to get them to understand, like, y'all don't understand. Even when Father is what he called him. Oh, so you calling me Father? Even when Father comes after us, he's never trying to kill y'all. He has every opportunity to kill Rebecca and them. He just injures them or hurts them enough to keep them out the way, because he's really trying to kill Klaus. And not only do he want to kill him, he want to torture him. Yeah. Because he could have killed him when he sat behind him at the opera.
Right. When he tapped him on the shoulder with the white oak stake. So we can talk about the white oak being the only thing that can kill the originals.
That could kill the originals, yes. We don't know about Klaus. He said that's what I had noted. He said possibly, because he's a hybrid.
Right.
So it may kill the vampire side of him.
And what is this white oak? Where does it come from?
It's a tree.
From the year 432, when they was kids? When
they
first got turned into vampires?
No, it is a tree, but it was it's like a Vampire Diaries crossover.
Okay.
I think their mom, and I could be wrong, so guys, if I have to come back and correct this, I will. But I think the witch, their mom, casted a spell or made a spell to be able to kill them with this particular tree. And then when Klaus found out about them, he went and like destroyed all of them. But it's supposedly the tree that it works. It can kill an original, but we don't know if it'll kill Klaus, because he's only different. But yeah, that is supposed to be able to kill an original. That's the only thing.
So we see that when Michael asked Elijah to help him kill Klaus, and Elijah says no, Michael stabs Elijah. What does he stab him with?
Just a regular stake.
Just a regular stake.
Which kills him, but he's a vampire. He's original. He'll come back.
Yeah. Okay. I was wondering. I knew it wasn't the white oak, because of course he comes back. But I was just like, he just stabbed his ass just because? I don't understand Michael. I do, but I don't.
He has no love for Klaus. Klaus is not his.
I understand, but why stab Elijah?
To keep him down, because I don't have time to fight you when I'm trying to kill your brother. I need you out of the way so I can focus on Klaus.
So it was to slow Elijah down.
Yeah, just slow him down.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, I understand, because I was a little bit confused. And like you said earlier, also in this episode, Haley has basically taken Celeste hostage, because Celeste is when she was in another body.
She was a Devereaux, and she's the last Devereaux because, well, Sophie died. But yeah,
Right. When she was in another body, she is the one who put the curse on the werewolves. So now Haley has her ass hostage because she wants her to fix it. She wants her to take the curse off.
Yes.
And that's pretty much all of episode 15.
Yes. That's pretty much how it ends. Let's see. Oh, here's a few quotes that I love from that episode.
Mm-hmm.
When they said, a good soprano is never dinner. That's what Elijah said when they was talking about the opera.
Yes.
The black werewolf girl was like, there's some great sopranos that you would love to drink. And he was like, a good soprano is never dinner.
Right.
I love that by Elijah. And what hurt my feelings and really made me cry for Klaus is when Michael was like, you just a bastard looking for a daddy. Bruh.
Yeah.
That was so mean and harsh. And then he told him, not only, I done been here for some while. I see how the city praise your name. I see how the people here love you. I see how Klaus comes out of their mouths. Not only am I going to kill you, but I'm going to kill everybody who has a memory of you. He said, I'm going to wipe you from the face of this earth. So not only did he want to kill him, he wanted to remove him from existence. That's a whole nother level of hate. And then we wonder why Klaus like he is.
Yeah, because that's the man who raised him. He didn't do a good job of raising him, but at the end of the day, that was the only father figure that he had in his life. Yeah, these episodes, there were definitely some sad parts. Definitely some parts where I was just like, dang, Klaus, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that your childhood was like this. I'm sorry that Michael was your dad. I'm sorry because, again, Michael was treating him like shit before they even turned vampire, before he even knew that Klaus was a werewolf. So that says to me that he knew something about Klaus, because he didn't treat any of the other kids like that. He wasn't nice to them,
but he was.
But he wasn't how he treated Klaus
either. No, he was a tyrant to Klaus.
He was.
And the episode, I believe it actually ended with when Elijah got there to the house, when he had to dagger him, he told Marcel and Rebecca to get far, far away because he knew that Klaus had seen the truth.
Correct. And he knew when he removed the dagger out of Klaus, because he had daggered him, that Klaus was going to be ready to kill Rebecca and Marcel.
So it ended
as
with them
should be.
To him telling them to get far away as you can.
Correct. He said, tell them to run.
Yes. And they was in a car and they was about to go away.
Correct.
And Marcel was like, we can't leave.
You think that's just funny? Because I don't understand it.
I don't either, but that's what I was saying. So I was like,
it goes back to Marcel's selfishness. It goes back to Marcel, because he's still Marcel says that they can't leave without Davina.
Yes.
That's what he says. For me, it goes back to Marcel still wanting to be the runner of shit, the ruler of shit. He can't do anything. He can't do too much without Davina. He needs somebody like Davina on his side. I understand Davina doesn't have as much power as she had before the harvest was complete, but Davina is still powerful in her own right, and we find that out later on down the episodes.
He dressed it up with
something about Davina.
We're gonna need her to cloak us so Klaus can't chase us forever. But I was like, you could find any witch to do that. You could go to any city and get a witch to cloak y'all,
to give you a cloaking spell. Yes. But he specifically
wants Davina.
And
I thought that was strange.
There.
Yeah. I was like, you still couldn't leave with Rebecca. Correct. I said, it's mighty funny you went back for Davina. You didn't go back for Rebecca.
Never, not one
time. You chose immortality over her.
Correct. You chose New Orleans over her. Yeah, he's never went back for Rebecca, but he was going back for Davina, and I do believe that it was for a selfish reason. And now, because he went back for Davina, their ass is all stuck in the graveyard.
Well, yeah.
And that's how the next season,
the next 3 episodes
episode
that we're going to talk about.
I don't know why I always say season. I be
Because it feel like season. Because these
it feels
episodes
like-
be so intense.
they are.
It's like watching a full season.
It really is. So that was episodes 13, 14, and 15. You guys make sure you come back and join us for episodes 16, 17, and 18. It's just getting good.
Getting good. So remember, subscribe, rate, review, and we'll see y'all next week. Peace.
Peace out, y'all.